Single player page. Start campaign button.
In 1350, what we know as the idyllic French countryside was a living hell. For more than 15 years, the people had suffered at the hands of English invaders. Little did they know that this war would last for another 100 years. But through this crucible of fighting, famine, and plague, there would emerge the modern nation of France. England's King Edward III looked jealously across the English Channel. Wanting France for his own, he had added the fleur-de-lis, the symbol of France, to his own royal standard. This was an all-out declaration of war. And in 1337, he invaded. But France already had a king, Philippe VI. As the English burned their way across the land, Philippe's army and his legendary knights marched to meet them and came face to face with the English longbow. A simple weapon, but the most devastating the knights had ever faced. The heroes of France fell to storms of English arrows. The war engulfed the French countryside. By 1351, the conflict was focused on Brittany. One fight stands out as a spectacular display of chivalry and a symbol of the wider conflict between the two enemy nations. The Combat of the 30 is still commemorated here in Brittany. It was a dispute between two local families. Supported by the opposing sides in the war, the French and English commanders decided to settle it through a trial of knightly combat. Each side would choose 30 champions to fight on neutral ground. France prepared to defend itself against England's finest.
Loading screen. Loading in progress. Loading screen. Loading in progress. Play button.
Intent on ending the suffering of the French peasantry, Sir Jean de Beaumanoir sent a challenge to the English commander. 30 champions on each side would compete in a tournament for final claim to Brittany. With the battleground of the halfway oak agreed upon, Sir Jean set out to gather support from local knights. As a knight himself, Sir Jean followed the strict rules of chivalry and was expected to protect the local peasantry and ensure peace.
Je suis votre serveuse. Voici, page, avertissez votre courage, compagnon. Si comme vos voudrez.
Most medieval tournaments were friendly in nature, held for sport and glory, But the combat of the 30 was arranged between opponents mired in war. English raids had torn through the countryside of Brittany and brought great hardship to the people. Sir Jean spotted an English raiding party attacking a nearby farmstead.
Retrayez vos appuis. Compagnon! Pour votre service! Je suis votre serveuse! Avertissez votre courage, compagnon! Incontinent!
The French knights defeated the English raiders, and Sir Guy de Rochefort joined Sir Jean's party.
Incontinent.
Looking to secure his honor, a young knight held his ground on a bridge in Sir Jean's path.
Donnez-moi vos habits. Ils se tiennent nos archives. Si très tous vont mourir.
Honorably conceding defeat in the duel, Sir Yves Charel joined the cause.
Bien sabets quoque nos advient. Reniez vos armes.
Sir Jean's search next brought him to Sir Geoffroy de Bois, whose squires were contending with a detachment of English longbowmen. The knights would use the great speed of their war horses to charge the archers and overwhelm them. The English longbowmen fell, but the French knights knew the enemy would attempt to retake the hilltop fortification and steeled themselves for further attacks.
Beneficato! Avant mult ultras! Oh yeah!
With Sir Geoffroy by his side, Sir Jean had secured the outpost.
nos en la bouée. Metz vos donc en la bouée. Un pied ci, un pied là. Mettons nos en la bouée.
Sir Jean entered the staging area for the tournament, where he prepared to choose which knights would join him in battle. Each knight would be accompanied by his squires, young nobles in training to become knights themselves. Sir Jean had selected his champions. As the sun rose, the two sides entered the arena, ready for the first round of combat. Claiming an easy victory in the first round, the French champions left the arena to recover their strength.
Avant, je veux l'ancien.
Well, estate vous.
Honor.
Aveillez votre. Veci comme élément.
Soyez prest, compagnon. Attendez les commandements. Acces met vos, compagnon. Quand je commande, avant.
Refreshed and reinvigorated, the French knights returned to the arena for another round of combat. The combat of the 30 was about to decide which nation would control the Duchy of Brittany. Triumphant, Sir Jean de Beaumanoir and his loyal knights claimed victory. The combat of the 30 had decided control of Brittany in favor of the French. Little did the two sides know, this was just the beginning of a bitter war that would outlive them all.
Disconnected. Please note close button. Continue button.
After victory at the combat of the 30, the French faced devastating raids from England's Black Prince. But France's King John II was closing in. Jean finally caught the English near the city of Poitiers in September 1356. The French army outnumbered the English by thousands. King Jean himself joined the fight, but what seemed a certain victory for France soon turned into a nightmare. The English longbow devastated the mighty French army. An endless hail of arrows gutted the main French force. Then the English captured King Jean. The fight was over. The Battle of Poitiers was another catastrophic defeat for the French. The English had destroyed most of France's nobility in a single day. Now they turned their attention towards taking the French capital, Paris. The invaders marched unopposed towards Paris. The remains of some of the medieval walls of Paris still stand today. As the English army approached, the terrified locals sought shelter behind these defenses. Could France's capital withstand the full might of the Black Prince's army?
Loading screen. Loading in progress. Loading screen. Loading in progress. Loading screen. Loading in progress.
The English Black Prince had raided the French countryside without mercy. And now his army had come for the capital. With the English on their doorstep, it fell to the French army and the people of Paris to defend the walls of their proud city. Hoping to avoid open battle, the French began fortifying the city, manning the walls and calling every available soldier to his post. As the French hastened their preparations, several detachments of English soldiers were spotted closing in on the city.
Besoin à faire? Je vous amène Mériens.
Azertas te demande. Tous te ya Lauretz.
Manuel assouvi.
Giovanni Bastir.
Longtemps va-t-il demeurer? Oyez les ordonnances.
The English showed no mercy, burning their way to Paris via 3 routes, each of which was home to villages and farms that supplied the capital.
Oyez les ordonnances. Lorsque bâti, je s'escuit.
Bonne besogne et...
Attendez les commandements, manants. Lorsque bâti, je s'escuit.
Au me fa au trail.
Advertance tout le monde, qui vais exploiter. Vécure Merias. Chevalier Bastir.
Oi, vestir de moi. Giovanni Basti. Oyez tous le monde. Pouvons savoir mestier de bois.
Baillez moi besoin. Je vous amène Merias.
Manance, preste à heurer. Cuidaves fouiller.
Compagnon, oyez bien.
Besoin. Pouvons savoir mestier de bois.
Advertance tout le monde. Tous dialogues. Lors Battige s'estui. Giovanni Basti. Bien me plaît, ça œuvrer ou de chance. Tous dialogues. Ardu besoin en grande terre.
Les autres laissent commandement. Vex, jeunesse Lidieur. À votre commandement. Compagnon, avant, à mon commandement.
Aubelest.
Oui, à ma main.
chevalier. Redet cette bonne ordre. Mes seigneurs.
Chessmesmos Aubelestres, comme il vous plaise.
As the French continued to rally their army, the English took the last of the surrounding villages and had almost encircled Paris.
Oyez les ordonnances. Veillez à la mine. Kostuya Laurets.
With the countryside in flames and the English at the city gates, the French armies steeled themselves for battle. Now came the capital's true test, with the mighty walls of Paris holed against a fearsome English siege.
Battige s'estui. Si vers
The Parisian Guard raised the alarm as the English began their first assault on the city walls.
Les commandements.
Les autres commandements.
Les chevaucheurs sont prêts.
Ome faul trein. Je vous amène Mériens.
L'heure est de besoin. Soyez express, compagnons. Sie kommen, was wollen. Pour votre service.
The French army fought valiantly, repelling the first English attack.
Annonce! Ouvrons donc! Lors Batige s'essuie. Tous de gars, Lauretz. Bonne besogne, Edgefect. Ça, c'est belle ouais. Ça y est, c'est belle besogne. Besogne nous attend, maintenant.
À la comme chevalier. Incontinent. Je suis votre serveur. C'est le temps d'advancier, mes seigneurs. Je suis votre serveur. Fidèles en bon ordre, si comme vos voldrez. Oui, de vers la devise, chevalier. Pour votre service. À leur temps, chevalier.
Les Mongolais actant vos ordonnances. Enjans envoyés. Vous êtes faux, bonne vite.
Access vos, compagnons.
Compagnon, chiez vos ordonnances.
Chessmets vos habillement.
Avant,
Hors de l'estière. Siveille.
Mongolais assis. Enjans se meute.
Soyez apertisets, votre corps.
À Chessmets vos...
Quand je commande, avant.
Attentis, vegimentements. Mongolais. Les Mongolais actant vos ordonnances. Asseyez, ils se...
Compagnons! Quand je commande,
Chessmets vos habillement. Hors de l'estière.
Or actandons ordonnance.
C'est ta mère.
Besoin à faire?
Advertance tout le monde.
Hors de l'estière. Allons.
obéir.
Oyez les commandements. Les Enjans est mu. Enjans de siège attendent vos ordonnances. Mouvez si seuls Enjans. Regime on demand. Wo is it, compagnons? Wo is it? On Jambos attendant.
Restrict the assault de l'ennemi! Avance, mes seigneurs! C'est le temps d'avancer, mes seigneurs! Chefs! Faites l'assaut, chevalier! Reste tous en prêt! À l'arson, chevalier! Avance, mes seigneurs! Pointe de merci pour l'ennemi! Attendez les commandements.
Restut est assis.
The French defense of their capital held firm, wearing down the English invaders one by one.
Oil, Monsieur.
Wo jetzt les ordonnances? Je veux semaine Mériès. Chevalier Bastille. Vécuer Mérias. On Jambos, oye. Oh, Simonette. Mangonels assis. Lion Jams movons nous. Alarme!
Reste tous en prêt! Entrez jetzt vos avoués! Force de je commande! Avant!
Lion Jams de siège assis.
Donnez-moi furie dans vos palettes!
Les Mongolels attendent vos ordonnances. Lion Jams de siège assis. Vous le croyez, Isseux!
Vigotor!
Les Mongolels attendent vos ordonnances.
Though the walls of Paris had been breached, the French could still hold the city, so long as its mighty landmarks did not fall.
L'heure est de besoin.
Mongolels assis.
Adjustment avant, compagnon.
Besoin de nos attentes! Chevalier Bastille! Or attendons ordonnance.
Que faut-il donc?
On change de siège! Soyez tout le monde. Pouvons savoir mestier de Bois. Compagnons, Chivos ordonnances. Au gagne pour le grand. Or attendons ordonnance. Seconde votre commandement. Si se rappelle. Reste assis. Ça, allez dessus. Angel, allez. Les Mongolais.
The enemy grew ever more desperate as their ranks thinned and their hopes of victory faded.
Sommes en ordonnance. À l'arson, chevalier. Trestus samsprest. C'est le temps d'adventière, mes seigneurs.
Las! Sommes en Versailles!
Voyez votre jetzt vos à moi, certes. L'heure est grande, je commande.
Oyez les ordonnances.
En besogne. Pouvons savoir, mestière de Bois. Oyez tout le monde, fouillez ma toute vie.
Acces vos en votre service. Avant, compagnon. Chevalier, ridets en bon ordre.
Besogne à faire?
Attendez les commandements.
Reste tout reste assis.
Je suis votre serveur. Pointe de merci pour l'ennemi.
Gens de siège attendent votre ordonnance.
À l'instant, chevalier, au votre service. À l'instant, chevalier, c'est le temps d'adventière, mes seigneurs. Avance, mes seigneurs.
Gens de siège attendent vos ordonnances. Advertance tout le monde. Gens de siège attendent vos ordonnances.
Donnez-moi vos invites.
Gens de siège, les temps s'envoient. Reste tout est assis. Es pas tête stone.
Engin de siège, s'ils partent en snow.
Sommes en ordonnance.
Reste toute précise.
Durch Duschenmacht!
Die Ordonnance attend de force. Die Engins en feu. Second à votre commandement.
À la sauvette! Chevaliers et contre-contre!
Or attendons l'ordonnance.
Preste pour la besogne, Manance?
Mangonel s'assise.
Oh, me pas me trahir?
Engin vos attendent. Voyez! À part main! Engin de siège, s'ils partent en snow! Régimendement, à part main!
En besoin.
Defeated and demoralized by the strength of the French defense, the Black Prince's army abandoned their siege of the capital. Paris celebrated victory, but this was not the last test the French would face in their struggle to win the war.
Disconnected. Please note that close button